Today's video is what is a supply chain, and for this one I've got some slides, so let's have a look at those. So this is an example of a supply chain from the standard world, and this is where the phrase comes from. You've got a chain of different things that come together to make a final product or a final thing, a final item. In this case, we've got some iron ore, which is then made into steel, then made into a piston, which is part of an engine, and your final thing is the car, the automotive. And so we have a supply chain. All of these things are part of the supply, and typically you'll have different organizations, different people creating each different piece, which makes a lot of sense because that's generally the most efficient way of doing these things. So let's look at an example from our world, however, of cybersecurity, because typically we don't always talk solely about the software supply chain, but that's typically the thing we're talking about. We might sometimes talk about the hardware supply chain as well, where we're talking about chips and the actual motherboards and things like this. But in this case, we're talking about the software supply chain. So let me just put my glasses on, and here we might have talk about the source code, and then the build environment, a number of dependencies. Maybe there are things that are required in order to create the build, and then a package, which is the actual thing that's ready to be run, to be executed, and then actually using it. So these can be thought of as steps in the supply chain, and there may be multiple steps before the source. You might have lots of different libraries that are brought in, and of course the dependencies. You'll have compilers and packages and all those different things which are used to create this actual thing. So your supply chain looks like this. So why does this matter to us in cybersecurity? Well, the problem is that wherever there's an opportunity to attack a supply chain, there's an opportunity to create problems for the final piece. So here's a rather scary picture where you have lots of different attack points. So each of those little skull and crossbones is maybe an attack point in your supply chain, attacking the source itself, or maybe attacking the transfer of the source to the build system, or the build system to the packaging, or whatever. And so each of these are times when you need to be thinking about the security of your supply chain. So security in supply chains is really, really important. It's something which has gained a lot of visibility worldwide these days. So you need to realize that just because you've got something that you're using, that doesn't mean it's secure. Even if you know where the thing it came from before came from, that doesn't mean that the whole thing is secure. You need to understand sometimes your entire supply chain. So that's what a supply chain is, and that's why we care about it. If this is useful or interesting, or if you've got questions about it, well, please ask questions, subscribe to the channel, and I'll do my very best to help answer them. Thanks very much.